Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, over the years I've always said never count the Democrats out, never underestimate the Democrats. They've been a formidable opponent. I mean, they've been playing the game at a pretty freaking high level for a long time. Do I like their politics? Do I like their tactics? Absolutely not. But you gotta give it to them. They were an effective thorn in Trump's side, and they've essentially dominated culture and politics for the better part of 2 decades. And so I guess in a competitive way, I've always warned that you can't underestimate them. And especially going forward, I think we might be in a position of overestimating them. Because of what it feels like is their party has totally collapsed. Regular people have completely jumped ship. And as we've seen all this fallout, now the response from the Democrats isn't to look within and reform and listen to the people. No, it's to double down on the woke nonsense. And it seems almost like there's a woke takeover currently happening at the party, which can't possibly end well. I mean, you know how the saying goes,
everything woke turns to shit, okay?
Well, it seems like this party is going woke, and I think they might be going broke. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so obviously it's been pretty bad within the Democrat world, and we've seen a lot of prominent voices try to come back to the whole classical liberalism brand, like Bill Maher and Eric Adams, for instance, who are calling for an end of all the woke nonsense. But it seems like those calls are falling on deaf ears here. They've learned nothing. Outgoing DNC chair says identity politics should remain the core of Democrats' message. Quote, people of color need to see Democrats fighting for them, and that cannot be the excuse for why we win or lose. When I wake up in the morning, when I look in the mirror, when I step out the door, I can't rub this off, he said, waving his hand in front of his face. This is who I am, and this is how the world perceives me. That's my identity, he continued, and it's not politics, it's my life. And the people that I need in the party, that I need to stand up for me, have to recognize that. You can't run away from it. In other words, we're doubling down on this identity politics thing, and Democrats just want people to speak to their identity. Yeah, you guys literally tried that. You sent Barack Obama to go out there and appeal to people's identities. You did the same thing with Kamala Harris, and look where it got you. I mean, this is the problem. They just don't get it.
We had 107 days, and I know people don't like that time frame, that number, but to open up a Democratic primary, you would have had black women, who were the strongest voting bloc for Kamala Harris, be highly upset if it was not Kamala Harris. You would have had someone starting with zero infrastructure. I hear your concern, and I'm not saying that primaries are not important and open primaries are important.
Everything's about race and pandering to racial groups. That, by the way, was Kamala Harris's campaign manager explaining that the Democrat Party couldn't have possibly done an open primary. No, they had to run with Kamala Harris because essentially otherwise it would have upset black women.
What an odd thing to say.
I mean, this party just doesn't get it, and some people might argue that, well, that's a Kamala campaign manager. Who cares? They lost. We're moving on as a party. And same thing with the outgoing DNC chair. He's vacating his position, so the party's moving on. But where's the party going exactly? That's the question I'm asking. Are Democrats going from this woke identity politics nonsense to something more grounded in reality? No, that's not what's happening at all. It seems like they're replacing woke with even more woke. This guy's leaving as the DNC chair, and now this guy's running for DNC chair.
Tell us a little bit about this. Are you thinking about running for this leadership post, and why?
Well, honestly, I'm considering it because I think that, one, obviously I think we need a new generation in the DNC. If this election has taught us nothing else, I think we need an intergenerational coalition as a party. But I've spent the past 2 years or so traveling around the country, working to elect young people and talking to everyday people, knocking on doors in every swing state that you can imagine, and some very red states as well, from starting out in Alabama to places like Texas and Virginia and everywhere in between. And the thing that I've realized more than anything is that we have a number of problems in the party, but I think the main one overall is that we would rather live in a comfortable delusion than an uncomfortable reality. And I think what the party needs to do is open its eyes and take its fingers out of its ears, basically.
What is, when you say delusion, what is the delusion?
I think it's that we can just surround ourselves with people that agree with us a lot of the time in terms of the party leadership and also within the party itself, and think that's just who we need to be talking to constantly instead of listening to people who don't agree with us. Not that we inherently agree with them, but I think so much the issue that we have as a party right now is a kind of condescending tone that we have in a number of ways, where we're seen increasingly as elitist, as out of touch, And I think there are real conversations that we need to have, and we also need to help more, not just young people, but people from normal backgrounds run for office. I think Tim Walz is actually a great example of this, of running as a teacher and gaining all the experience that he had to massively outperform even in a Trump-held district, right? We need everyday people, from teachers to doctors to everybody in between, to start running for office and help changing the future of this party and the face of this party as well.
Yep, David Hogg is now considering running for DNC chair. And people are just so excited. This is what's dominating the headlines. Woke communist anti-gun activist David Hogg, Tier 3 Hasanabi Twitch subscriber David Hogg, might take over party campaign affairs. This is a party in implosion. And it's exactly what I was saying previously. I mean, there's no one left. There's no talent in the party. Who are these Democrats going to run for office next? Liz Cheney? George Conway? Pete Buttigieg? They've got nothing. And again, what's dominating the headlines? Well, yep, once again, it's much worse than you might have thought. President AOC? Democrats need star power to win in 2028.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
Yup, these people have learnt nothing, and just zoom into the headline. A riveting messenger, whether that's a rising political star or a charismatic outsider, paging Mark Cuban. Really? I mean, this is beyond facepalm. We should probably do brain explosion here. And so let's really put it all into perspective here. Let's put it all into a nice little neat package. The entire country is telling the Democrats that identity politics is the problem, that wokeness and DEI has got to go, and their response is, we have to avoid primaries and force our DEI hire into the position of power as to not make black women unhappy. And identity politics is going nowhere. That's essentially the response we got there. And instead of reforming the party, no, the party's being taken over by young communist e-celebrities who've got star power. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna run Mark Cuban, who's transitioned to wearing giant glasses. He's super woke and liberal and our billionaire, just like Donald Trump. How stupid is that? Mark Cuban is probably one of the biggest reasons why they lost. The guy appeared like a total tool and a total shill. I mean, he was so bad that even the Kamala Harris campaign, the worst campaign in modern history, told him to shut up. In other words, Mark Cuban got kicked off, he got fired by the worst campaign in modern history because he was like a cinder block taped to their ankle. And now the leftist response is, let's run Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Mark Cuban. This party is toast, at least in the short term. It feels like all the people with a little shred of common sense left have ditched the party, and all that's left are the lunatics, radicals, and the shills. I mean, what's next? Joy Reid's gonna be the White House press secretary for this Mark Cuban AOC White House? Give me a freaking break. The wokesters are taking over the party. The next generation is coming in with all of their crazed nonsense, and regular people, I think, are seeking ideological refuge in the Republican Party. At least that's what it feels like. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.